Greetings, chess kings and queens. You're probably wondering what's up with the opera music. That's because this is an homage to the great Paul Morphy and his illustrative opera game. The opera game was, of course, played in 1858 by the great American um, chess champion Paul Morphy while he was over in Paris trying to enjoy an opera. Um, Two European aristocrats wanted to engage him in a little um, mental sparring via the 64 squares, the chessboard. So this game is such an illustrative game. I think it has it just encapsulates so much as it relates to the game of chess. A lot of zaps and traps and skewers and all kind of things like that. So the opera game starts out with this is Paul Morphy playing as the white pieces. He starts out with e4. Black is going to respond with e5. All right. Paul Morphy then plays knight to f3. Black is actually going to play the Philidor defense. Going to play his pawn actually to d6. All right. Paul Morphy is then going to play d4. Black is going to respond with bishop to g4, pinning the knight at f3. Paul Morphy is then going to play this move here. Pawn takes pawn. Black is going to respond by capturing white's knight at f3. White is simply going to reply queen takes bishop at f3. Now black simply can capture the pawn at e5. White then plays this very natural move. He's going to play his bishop to c4. Obviously, he's clearly threatening checkmate at f7. To stave off the checkmate, black is going to play this natural move. He's going to bring his knight to f6, preventing the checkmate at f7. Morphy then makes this fabulous double attack, threatening check at f7 here, and he also has this double attack here at b7. Black is going to play this move here, his queen to e7, preventing the check at f7. Keep in mind, the pawn at b7 can still fall, but the beautiful thing about Paul Morphy is he was such an artist and he wasn't a butcher. He's going to play his bishop to g5, creating a relative pin of the knight at f6. So black is still worried about this pawn at b7 falling. So he's going to play c6. All right. Now the queen, of course, protects the pawn at b7. Again, Paul Morphy was all about development. So chess kings and queens, those who are just maybe new to the game, chess, especially in the opening, is all about development. Okay. So notice Paul Morphy's going to develop another piece. He's going to bring his other knight into the game. Okay. Now at this point, black is feeling a little nervous because he doesn't like the bishop on that diagonal there. Black is going to play this move here. Now here's where it gets interesting. All right. Now normally you probably would want to retreat with the bishop that's at c4. But Paul Morphy, you might have noticed we were playing Andrew Lloyd Webber's Phantom of the Opera. And Paul Morphy was something of a phantom. So he would see things that you probably didn't see. He's actually going to play knight takes b5. All right. Black is probably thinking, like, why would he give up his knight? Okay, but again, Paul Morphy is seeing things that others aren't seeing. All right, so the knight then falls. All right, then Paul Morphy is going to play this beautiful check. All right, now the king doesn't have too many options here. Obviously, the king could move to d8, but of course, we typically don't want our king on the run. He could, of course, block the check with his knight here, but of course, if he were to do so, then his queen would fall at e7. So the only real natural move that he's probably that black has to play is he's going to play his knight to d7. All right, and this is where it gets interesting. Now white is actually going to castle queen side. Okay, all right. Now notice now white has an additional attacker on the knight at d7. Black is going to respond with rook to d8. All right. So at this point, Morphy's going to play rook, captures knight at d7. Naturally, black is going to respond by rook captures rook at d7. Of course, we now have an absolute pin with the bishop at b5. So it's white's move. Morphy's going to put another attacking piece on the d7 rook. Black now needs to free up the knight that's at f6 in order to protect the rook at d7. So he's going to move his queen because he wants to remove the pin that the white bishop has on the knight. So at this point, it's too little too late. Obviously, he's inviting the queen to trade, but Paul Morphy is like, too little too late. Check. The rook now falls. Black basically has only one really good move, and that, of course, is to take back with his knight. Takes back with his knight. So from this position right here, Paul Morphy saw that it was checkmate in 2 moves. Maybe pause the video if you like, and see if you can actually see the checkmate in 2. So one of the things I always like to advise my students is always look for checks and checkmates. Even if it doesn't make sense, like consider it. Always consider all your options. So there's 2 checks that we can see from here. Obviously, there's queen takes queen, right? Doesn't really work because the pawn is simply going to capture back, okay? All right, so that one doesn't work, okay? But how about this one? And this is like, you know, this is like a chess player's like dream play. Whenever you sacrifice a queen, all right? Now this move right here is obviously forced because black has no other move but to simply capture the queen, all right? He can't, of course, go here because of the bishop on the diagonal. So this would be an example of zigzagging, right? Hope I'm saying that German word correctly. It's forced. Black's only move is basically a horrible move. But the rules of chess dictate that he has to get out of check. So he has to capture the queen. All right. Queen is gone. Maybe the 2 aristocrats from Europe were feeling pretty good. Like, we captured his queen, you know? If we're playing by points, clearly black has a material advantage. But again, this is chess. It's not checkers. White's going to play this fabulous back rank checkmate at d8. Game over. That's the opera game. Hope you enjoyed this. We will see you next time when we have our next demonstration.